If you feel behind in life right now, you're not the only one. A lot of people feel like everyone around them is moving forward while they're just stuck. You see people your age making money, getting in shape, building relationships, figuring out careers, and it starts to feel like you missed something. Like everybody got the manual except you. And the worst part is, after a while, that feeling starts getting into your head. You stop just feeling behind and you start seeing yourself as someone who's behind. That changes how you think. It makes you overthink more, doubt yourself more, and hesitate more. But honestly, I think a lot of people confuse being behind with being in an unfinished stage of life. Those are not the same thing. Just because your life does not look how you thought it would be now, does not automatically mean you failed. Sometimes it just means things are taking longer. Sometimes it means you're still figuring things out. Sometimes it means you wasted time, and now you have to be honest about that. But even then, that still is not the same thing as being finished. A big reason people feel behind is comparison. Most people are not waking up, looking at their own life, and deciding if it's terrible in isolation. They feel behind because they're constantly seeing what everybody else is doing. Social media is making things worse because now you are just not living your own life. You're also watching hundreds of other people perform theirs. Your own life starts to feel smaller even if you're making progress. That's why comparison messes up people so badly. It makes normal people feel invisible. You could be improving, learning, trying, or even changing, but if somebody else looks further ahead, suddenly none of that feels like enough. That mindset can ruin you because once you believe you're behind, you start moving with panic. And panic makes people do stupid things. They rush into the wrong job, the wrong relationship, the wrong goals, the wrong lifestyle, just because they feel pressure to catch up. Stop asking what is actually right for them and start asking what looks right from the outside. That's where people really lose themselves. Now, I'm not saying you should just sit around and tell yourself everything's fine when deep down you know you need to change. Some people do need more discipline, and some people are wasting too much time. But there's a difference between being honest with yourself and constantly tearing yourself down. You can admit that you need to do better without acting like your life is over. That is the shift. Because if you feel behind, the most important thing is not sitting there asking, why am I not further ahead, over and over again. A better question is, what do I need to do next? The question is calmer, more useful, and it actually leads somewhere. Maybe the next step is getting serious about your health. Maybe it's fixing your sleep, or even saving money instead of wasting it. Or maybe even applying for jobs or learning a skill. Whatever it is, your life usually does not improve because of one huge breakthrough. It improves because you start handling what is in front of you. That is something a lot of people do not want to hear because it sounds simple, but simple does not mean easy. Most lives are changed by basic things done consistently, not by one big moment. And another thing people need to hear is you do not need to have everything figured out right now. A lot of people think if they're confused, uncertain, or you're still changing direction, that means they're failing. It doesn't. Most people figure life out by living it, by trying things, getting things wrong, adjusting, learning, and growing up a little. The real danger is not confusion. It's staying still for too long because you're scared to move before you have everything mapped out. You're allowed to build as you go. You're allowed to be in a stage where things are still messy. You're allowed to work in progress. What matters is whether you're actually moving or not. So if you've been falling behind lately, stop measuring your whole life by where somebody else is. Stop acting like you're out of time just because your path looks different. And stop making yourself weaker by repeating the idea that you're too late. Maybe you're not behind. Maybe you're just in the part of the life where things are not clear yet and you need to keep going anyway. That's normal. But at the same time, be real with yourself. If there are habits, excuses, or patterns keeping you stuck, deal with them. Take responsibility, not in a dramatic way, just honestly. Start where you are, fix what you can, and keep moving. Because people who turn their life around are usually not the ones who had everything figured out early. They're the ones who stopped wasting time feeling sorry for themselves and started building from where they were. So no, you might not be where you want to be right now, but that does not mean you're done. It just means you need to stop staring at the gap and start paying attention to the next step. That's how people get their life back on track. You don't need to have your life figured out right now. You just need to stop standing still.